I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
Hello. Hello. I'm like, my heart's beating out of my chest because I'm really nervous to do this stream. Members have already gone through this info. We've already kind of done like a pre-run of this about 4 weeks ago, but I was nervous to do it live, and then I thought, with my experience with the church that I grew up in, their experience with this group, that I might have some stuff to offer to the space via commentary. So I'm going to say hi to the live chat and we're going to get started. Before we do though, and I will do this several times through the stream, there's a content warning for today. There's going to be mention of SA, CA, and there's going to be religious manipulation. If those things are really tough to handle, then this is not the stream for you. We're going to be talking about the International House of Prayer in Kansas City and the things that have happened and come out with reports. It's a little bit old news, but it's not old news. I know bigger channels have done streams on it. I think my experience in churches growing up may lend some insight, and I'm going to try to tackle the topic as gently as possible, but there's also a chance that I may get upset because taking advantage of people makes me angry. Taking advantage of especially people who cannot offer informed consent or who are the victims of someone who has more power than them makes me angry. And so just take it with a grain of salt. If you need to hop out of the stream, I get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm glad you're here. Live chat, I'm glad to see you. Smurge, Nikki, Coconuts, Pickle Knit, Savannah, Wendy. Oh my God, Savannah. It's a while. It's a while. It's a lot. It's wild. It's a lot. Hello, Melissa. Yep, coffee may be needed. Yeah, Fundy Fridays did a video. It's 10:30. It's early. Also, hello. Jackie. Frogzim. Alexis, Charlene, Sarah. If I miss saying hi to you, Katrina. Yes! I'm glad you're back. Yeah, and I appreciate that, Kate. So let me tell you about my experience a little bit. And then we'll talk about IHOP. And I will say I'm kind of in limbo at the moment with what I believe about stuff because of things that I've run into, people and interactions I've had, and struggling with things theologically wise. I don't know exactly where I stand, but I can tell you like how I got here. Hey, Mary. My parents are became Christians when they were in college. They did not grow well, my dad grew up in like a Catholic household, but he didn't choose, like, he became a Christian when he was older. My mom grew up in, I would say, more atheist household, and also in a kind of a traumatizing situation with an alcoholic parent. She became a Christian maybe in her teens, but it was stronger when she got older. And Natalie, the lawyer chick, and Dr. Barry were talking about religion, and if it's healing and restorative for you, that's great, and that's what it should be. Experiences like that should be, and if they are, incredible, and if they're not, then you need to take a look and know that there's red flags. Hi, Sparrow. I hope you're having a good Saturday. We all grew up going to church, my siblings and I. There are 5 of us. Well, 7 in the family, but 5 siblings. And I'm going to use air quotes because I don't know what I am at the moment. I became a Christian when I was younger. I thought I understood what it was to be a Christian, and I don't know what I am anymore. So some people, maybe in the Christian / religious community, might take what I'm saying on this video to not have any merit because I'm meandering on. I don't know what I am. Growing up, our church had a really close affiliation with the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. And our church financially, from what I understand, helped support the start of that church in 1999. IHOP, International House of Prayer. The International House of Prayer believes that they will bring the coming of Jesus faster by fulfilling things that they think are necessary to have in place for him to return. One of those being worshiping 24/7. Now I want to eat pancakes out of spite. And they have been doing 24/7 worship since the early 2000s, if not 1999, meaning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have worship going, and they have a room that people can go to and worship along with the people who are the musicians and the singers. And they pray, and you can log in and watch it going on. When I was in high school, our church had already been sending teens to the International House of Prayer for the internship. And you could go to the internship as a high school student. You could go, if you were under a certain age, you could go even if you had gone to college and then wanted to do the internship. After that 2-year internship, sometimes they would accept people on staff. Now, everyone at IHOP has to get their own financial support to get a paycheck. IHOP does not pay anyone except Mike Bickle, who started the International House of Prayer. So the individuals, the interns, have to go around to people in the church, talk to them about what they want to do, and ask them if they would like to support the individual monthly. So internship is one thing. But working for IHOP is another twisty thing because there's no health care or insurance or whatever. and all of the people who are full-time staff members are getting supported and having their salary paid by people that they know within their home church. Yeah, the religious talk's okay. Just we're obviously have a trigger warning about it. Just keep it civil and respectful if we can. There's also maybe gonna be rage about the stuff I'm gonna read. One of the people in my wedding, I would say, I guess, former best friend growing up, works full-time at the International House of Prayer. And we used to support her monthly. We ended up stopping because there is no governing body for the leadership at IHOP. Meaning, there's no elder board that is separate to say, hey, you're not behaving correctly, you're breaking theological standards, you're breaking the law, you're out. There's nobody to do that there. So it's unchecked power, in my opinion. And so there was a slight falling out with that person. She still works there and has worked there for over 10 years. She's still, again, for 10 years, working full-time for IHOP, and people from our church are paying for her to do that ministry, even though it's mostly administrative, pastoral work. Let me just read some of the comments. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, same MK. I live near Kansas City, and I've driven past IHOP, the IHOP building, a few times. Never did anything with them, though. Recently, in the past several months, there was a story that came out about Micah Bickle and impropriety within the church, and they were denying it. And then there was a third-party report that had come out about all of the stuff that was going on in the church. That was devastating. And then there was also one of their top worship leaders, Misty Edwards. When I was on the worship team at my church, we played a lot of her original songs for worship. She was kind of the gold standard of worship leader that everyone kind of looked up to. There's a musical internship and school that you can go to now to learn how to worship and do worship as a musician and then go get jobs at churches. She had been found out to have been having a 7-year-long affair with another worship leader. There's a lot of things that are basically like being covered up and hidden that are coming out now. The thing that makes me angry is that I don't understand if you believe what the Bible says about stuff and you're preaching about different things, why you continue to treat kids in such a awful way and how they end up getting in the crosshairs of predators, and why the church, IHOP, other churches end up protecting those predators because they feel that if people find out about what's going on, it will take credibility away from the organization. That makes me enraged. I'm going to stay as calm as possible, but I'm already getting emotional about it. Hey, Aya. Because children can't give them money. Hi, Morts Maniac. We have things to read. We're going to read the Roy's report, which keeps an eye on church scandals. We're going to look at a document that has a listing of over 215 people who have been listed at cross-referenced as predators who are in a part of a religious organization. I think that it might not be 215 people. I think it's 215 pages of individuals. We're going to I'm going to show you my board I have. We will take time for questions. Y'all can ask me. You good, buddy? Go on. Okay, I'll pet you. My parents' dog is being stressed out because my parents are gone. Before we get into that, what questions do y'all have so far? Yes, I agree. It happens everywhere. It's not just improprieties happening in religious organizations and take down religious organizations. That's definitely what I want to be. I want to be nuanced about this. I do want to say there are. You good? Sorry, he's an older dog. We are talking about the International House of Prayer. They use IHOP, even though IHOP is a thing, but well, that's okay, Katrina. I'd love that. Yeah, just send me a message. How do they get members to join? It's kind of like a regular church. They have the Forerunner School of Ministry. Their church is called Forerunner Church. The International House of Prayer is the room where they do the 24/7 worship. And people who believe that worship brings the coming of Jesus back faster, and they support the idea. They are either financial supporters of Mike Bickle and what he's doing at IHOP, or they live in Kansas City and they join. There are some people that have even bought like second homes in Kansas City and go from other places that they live and stay for a short periods of time so that they can go to IHOP to worship. It is kind of spoken about as a thing in other churches in the United States. IHOP also has several transplants in different states, but you can just join. But it's a lot of the church leaders in other churches talking up IHOP. I think they have Baptist like tendencies, but they're non-denominational. And they don't have somebody in place to check the power of the leaders. The leaders have nobody to say like, this is wrong, you've broken the rules and you're out. And we're going to see that in the reports we're going to read today. I'm a person of faith, and sure, I believe in forgiveness, but I also believe there are things that should disqualify a person from being in a position of authority in a church. For sure, Katrina. Have a good day at work. Yep. And it's not just Baptists. There are, again, if we look at, I'm going to try to find, I guess my influence continuum is not here. I don't know where I put it. We've seen is this it? Yeah. This is the influence continuum, and if you're trying to test out the health of the organization that you're a part of, influence is everywhere. Being a part of groups is not bad. And if the organization you're a part of is healing and restorative, that's incredible. If it's not, if it's destructive, that's a red flag. So, if you look at the right side, the destructive, unhealthy side, you can look at individuals, you can look at leaders, and you can look at organizations. And today we are going to look at leaders in the organizations and see that some of the things that we're looking at IHOP fall on the destructive side of the influence continuum. And this is from Stephen Hass, and this is just a graphic I made myself. This is just from his stuff that he did. Preserving your own power, one of the things IHOP does, because there's no way to remove people, there's no body to check the power of the leaders in this group. After the scandals have broken about IHOP, there have been so many people who have done posts on Facebook where they say like, oh, Mike Bickle doing this stuff doesn't invalidate the prophetic words and all the good that IHOP has done since 1999. And going straight from not acknowledging the victims in this situation to trying to protect the organization from scrutiny is disgusting, in my opinion. And so we're gonna look at that a little bit. Yep. The church I grew up in would encourage us to visit IHOP for a time, but they stopped a while back after some questionable rumors started happening. Yep. How can they use the abbreviation IHOP without getting sued to hell and back? I think they did get sued, but I'm not sure. How many of their prophetic words have actually come true? Because if they haven't, then they're false prophets, and the Bible has opinions about that. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe ask her if she encourages people to go there, and or maybe ask her opinion on what's been going on with IHOP. Because in my opinion, it's not safe to send your kids there, your young adults there, because of what we're going to see with the behavioral control, the emotional control that's worked in to the internships and to the school. One of them being, you can't date when you're a part of the internship. You have to remain single. Another one of them, limiting sleep because you're working so many hours a day. You are not fed appropriately because you have to do so much on your own. So there's things that are playing into the vulnerability of the individual, and then that vulnerability makes you open for potential I say mind control, but that kind of offends a lot of people. It opens you up to susceptibility to be influenced in maybe a way you would not be influenced if you had enough sleep, if you had enough to eat, if you were able to get enough rest and time off to be able to think things through. That's my opinion. So we're going to go over here. This is my IHOP board, and I guess we'll be red today to match this nonsense. Um, they have a university for kids. Our church sent a bunch of kids to this university. Our church sent a bunch of kids to the internship. Our church ended up doing a prayer room as well here in Houston. And the close ties between what I grew up with and IHOP, I know people who are still there. I know people who went there. So yep, I bet there is. I'm glad there's people talking about it. So on my channel, I guess I should have said this. I'm DC. I'm an MLM dropout. I mostly talk about multi-level marketing companies on my channel, but I also talk about unethical behavior. We've looked at influencers, we've looked at organizations. Today we're looking at the International House of Prayer and what has happened with the internal investigation, the rumors that were solidified with this third-party report, and how they ignored the information and kept predators in contact with minors. It might be shocking for some in the chat. So again, there's a content warning. There's going to be mention of SA, CA, religious manipulation, people in power taking advantage of others. If this is too twisty, then this is not the stream for you. Take care of your mental health. Oh yeah, Danielle, on our podcast, the podcast was awesome. It's okay. Grab your pancakes, grab your meds, grab your grab your drinks, and let's go. Sorry, I shook my desk is kind of too wobbly for all the equipment I have on it. All right, we're in Millinote, so we're going to go to, this is the boards that we made. So we're going to go through and just click this strategically. Ministry Watch has done a report. The Roy report. There's a petition for investigation of the clergy. There are the Instagram posts that they put out that nothing that they did was wrong. We're going to watch the video on the latest allegations against Mike Bickle. Their new PR guy who is a numpty, and it just gets twistier and twistier and twistier. I don't know why I didn't put the Roy's report here. So let me just go back one level. This is a public statement concerning recent allegations of Mike Bickle. This is the final report. This is from the Grace. This is the Grace report. Mike Bickle's statement. This is a PDF of alleged abusers that someone posted on the internet. It's partially redacted, and the ones that have been confirmed are unredacted. So we're gonna look at that. And so I was keeping track of the dates. These are all the schools that IHOP has. Equipping. This is the trainings from the International House of Prayer. Become a Voice. Ministry, Worship, Media, Everywhere, and Ethnos. Study in multiple languages. They've got a lot of things for people to get connected with. I wonder, they've got a children's equipping center. They've got healing rooms. They've got the African American Forerunner Alliance, Hope City International Ministries, the Isaiah 19 Initiative, Prophetic Ministry, Luke 18 Project, and the Israel Mandate. I wonder if this, though, is... Let me just click on this. No. Sorry. All right. This is Ministry Watch. And so we'll read this, and I might do... I'm just going to do this in Safari because we can have the reader view. So let me try this. All right. I'm not going to censor out the words. So I'm going to read it. Hopefully. Well, I don't... Y'all can read it and I will just talk, if that's okay. Also, if you're a creator, I did upload Turn On videos to the free anti-MLM folder. All right. International House of Prayer leader accused of SA. Charismatic pastor Mike Bickle has led the ministry since 1999. So this is where we're starting. Nikki, you've been here for 9 months. Thank you so much. Let's go. Happy to be here. A fully formed baby snark. I was on crutches and my friends brought me to IHOP just for the jokes. Oh, geez. Patricia, thank you for gifting a membership. I'm going to star these so I can celebrate them at the end. Because I think it's just rough content to go through. And I'm going to celebrate the 9 months. I'm starring them so I can see them at the end. Okay? Let's go. Y'all, Wendy's starting a channel and we're going to support big time. Mike Bickle, founder of the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, IHOP KC, has been accused of serious allegations, including sexual immorality. Details about the abuse claims have not been provided, but according to reporting by the Kansas City Star, the allegations involved serious sexual abuse spanning decades. 3 former leaders at IHOP KC, Dwayne Roberts, Brian Kim, and Wes Martin, made the current ministry leadership aware of the allegations, adding that the group found the allegations of clergy abuse by Mike Bickle to be credible and long-standing. The credibility of these allegations is not based on any one experience or any one victim, but on the collective and corroborating testimony of the experiences of several victims. And that's the leadership report we saved. It was released on October 28th, 2023. Okay. No, they do not. They do not. They do not serve pancakes. The former leaders claim they attempted to confront Bickle with one victim's allegations before approaching the IHOP KC leadership team. This is a misnomer because the IHOP KC leadership team has no authority to remove people. And we're going to read that in the information that we've gathered. And I know y'all probably already heard this on other channels. So I'm not saying that I have new things. I'm just saying we're going to find out about this together. However, we were repeatedly rebuffed by Mike Bickle and we were refused any sort of meeting, the statement said. Instead, Mike used manipulating and intimidating tactics towards the victims to isolate and discredit them. The 3 claimed to be shocked by the allegations. The allegations seemed out of character to the man we thought we knew, but they were so serious we could not ignore them, the statement said. According to the statement, the allegations assert that Bickle abused his position of spiritual authority to manipulate his victims. And so we look at... Oh, God. Sorry. We're going to go to the bite model again. Oops. Is this it? No. deceptive, manipulative, clones people. The ends justify the means. They preserve their own power. There's no legitimate reasons to leave. There's elitism, authoritarian structure, and we already read the deceptive. And then for the leaders, narcissistic, psychopathic, elitist, grandiose, power hungry, secretive, deceptive, claims absolute authority. Okay, we're just gonna look at that. Bickle was asked and has agreed not to preach or teach at IHOP KC, engage in its 24-hour prayer room, or post to his social media while they work with outside parties to assess the situation. That too little, too late. Because guess what? We're going to read the Grace Report that they knew about all this stuff, or at least they knew of problems before this. No, they have many they have locations across the country. So there's lots of houses of prayers now in the United States. I don't know if there's any other in Kansas City. Our priority is to love and serve IHOP KC community during this moment. This news is unsettling for our spiritual family as well as our entire leadership team. It requested prayer for everyone involved and also asked the IHOP KC spiritual family not to use prophetic spiritual language that can be interpreted as dismissive of the pain of the traumatized. If you thought it couldn't get twistier, if you don't know what prophetic language is or prophetic messages are, in some churches, they believe that they can, it's not exactly see the future, but it's similar to that, where they will speak things over people, over communities, over groups that they believe God is telling them about, or the Holy Spirit is telling them about, and that those things will come to pass. And some people, I'm not going to say pretend, but they are not sharing real things. They're sharing made up things, in my opinion. And that can get twisty really fast when you're praying for someone. Or if you are saying your church is going to come through this because you were told by God A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and saying something like that would be really traumatic for the victims in this case. And it's not just Mike Bickle's victims. There's somebody else. There's somebody else. Hey, Tori. A lot of MLMs have religious connections, yes. Oh, sweet. IHOP KC was founded in 1999 by Bickle after he broke away from the Vineyard Church movement following conflict with other leaders. Bickle's theology emphasizes fasting, prophetic experiences, and end-time studies, and is associated with the New Apostolic Reformation. So that answers some of y'all questions. I thought it was non-denominational, but it's New Apostolic Reformation. Now, listen. The church or churches do fasting frequently. One of the things you can run into with the bite model of authoritarian control, when fasting is involved and lack of sleep is involved, and you have individuals who are abusing the power that they have over others, you can create vulnerable moments in people because they are malnourished, they are dehydrated, they don't have good quality sleep, and they may be more receptive to manipulation. I don't think that All churches are bad. I don't think belonging to a religious organization is bad if it's restorative and healing. Going to a church and getting taken advantage of or getting essayed or being the victim or being essayed as a child, I think obviously that is not healing or restorative. So there's big problems at IHOP KC, and they've known about it for a while. Okay, Shelly, thanks so much for hanging out. Have a good shopping trip. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I don't even know if we can classify the New Apostolic Reformation as a denomination. They're more of just a movement. There isn't a governing body of any kind. Yep, and that's a great point. That is one of the issues with IHOP itself. As a group, there is no governing body of any kind. And that is unchecked power, and that can turn twisty fast. And normally, healthy leaders will put checks and balances in place to make sure that they do not take advantage of individuals who are weaker or who don't have as much power as they do. Good leaders do that, in my opinion. IHOP KC operates a prayer room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, staffed by 2,000 volunteers. Not employees, not contractors, volunteers. They're called intercessory missionaries, and all of those volunteers have to get their own funding to be able to volunteer there. Some people live locally and can volunteer, but there's people on staff who have to get all of their funding from people at their originating church. Sweet. No, that's fine. Yeah, if y'all have recommendations about this topic or someone who also has the same kind of chat environment we do here, or if they don't give people a warning about the environment, because I definitely want to recommend people who don't surprise people with topics, because I know that can be shocking. Hello, Amy. This is the International House of Prayer in Kansas City, and it is like the International House of Pancake in that they have the same letters that they use. So these intercessory missionaries raise their own support and serve in the prayer room, classroom, and outreach ministries. Over the course of its history, IHOP KC has faced a variety of controversies, including trademark infringement lawsuit by the International House of Pancakes and the mysterious death of an intern, Bethany Deaton, who was found dead in the backseat of a van with a plastic bag tied over her head and an empty bottle of acetaminophen nearby. If y'all want to look into that, they say it was a mystery. I say murder. All right. Let's see. There we go. Now we can go back. All right. I know it's a lot of reading. I think understanding it in its entirety is important. Hi, Chelsea. Yes, they have tithe coming in. If you don't know what tithing is, people give 10% of their income to churches that they belong to. They also go above and beyond to donate money that they do get a tax write-off for to support their missionary work. IHOP has hundreds of millions of dollars coming in, I think, a year So they don't have enough money to pay their full-time staff, but they have hundreds of millions of dollars. Make it make sense. Trying to see if this is different. Here we go. The International House of Prayer relieves Mike Bickle of duties. All in name, just all for, I say all for show because when we read the Grace report later, which is eye-opening and awful, you're going to see that Bickle, or in one of the articles we're going to read, Mike Bickle was supposed to like step down, but they just left him off of the meeting notes, but he was still running the team meetings every week. But they were hiding it that he was even a part of it. So when we go back to look at the influence continuum, we look at this part, secretive or deceptive, and we know that that is falling on the unhealthy side of influence. If you're wondering like, oh my gosh, is this okay? The destructive side of influence, probably not okay. Okay, Martha Maniac. Tithing makes me furious because sending bills for tithe while my parents were scraping by on one part-time income for 2 adults and 2 toddlers is what my parents' church chose to do. Instead of, I don't know, helping us. That's absolutely fucked up, Demi. I think it falls in my opinion, it falls into trafficking. Labor trafficking. If you haven't heard the definition, you can go to Stephen Hassan's website and look into it, or you can go look on the internet about people who are speaking out against it. I think it's at least in the neighborhood of that for what they're doing with their interns and their volunteers and their quote unquote full-time staff members. That's awesome. I love it when there's no obligation. There's something similar about that, but just in general, the like TLDR, lying is bad. Oh my God, Demi. Putting a marble fountain? Dear God. International House of Prayer relieves Mike Bickle of duties, begins formal investigation of IHOP KC originally begins. Formal investigation. IHOP KC originally retained a national law firm to conduct the investigation, but switched to a local firm following pushback from victim advocates. Let me fix my drop shadow because I can't focus. All right. Based on allegations of sexual abuse, the International House of Prayer in Kansas City has asked its founding leader, Mike Bickle, to step away from his duties, pending an independent investigation. Our executive leadership team and Mike Bickle. See, like, why does Mike Bickle have to agree to anything? If someone is doing something to harm others or allegedly to harm others, you should have the power to remove those people until the answers come out. It is just so, like, this wording is just twisty to me. Our executive leadership team and Mike Bickle have agreed that out of the best interest of the organization and the integrity of IHOP KC, laughable, Mike will step away from public ministry for an indefinite period of time, up to and including until we complete a thorough examination of the allegations and inquiry of the circumstances. A November 5 press release from IHOP KC stated. The leadership at IHOP KC had originally retained national law firm Stinson LLP to conduct the investigation. So you can afford a very expensive law firm, but you cannot pay your full-time employees. How interesting. Assess the allegations and advise IHOP KC about appropriate next steps, the statement added. Imagine prioritizing a church looks over helping their own congregation. Yep. Hi, Sina. The original intent of the tithe was so that the community had a resource to help members in need. We're supposed to take care of one another. Agreed. Agreed. Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much. Oh no, am I frozen? Oh dear God. Let me check. My internet seems okay. Maybe hop out and come back in, Julie. Not yet. We're just moving slowly towards that. I think what's an interesting part of this too is my perspective on the marketing side of press releases and the information that they offered to us. Just because of my experience in the marketing space, I was shocked by how they went about this, and I'm very leery of the wording that they're using in their own press releases. So we're working towards that. The leadership at IHOP KC had originally retained... Okay, we already read that. Some critics have expressed concern that hiring a law firm shows that IHOP KC is more concerned with mitigating liability than conducting a transparent and honest investigation. That could be. Then there's one thing that lawyers are really good at is looking at information and doing investigations. That's essentially what they have to do when they're preparing for a case. So I'm not shocked by that. But I can see why that move was very off-putting to the congregants and the community. Hey, YouTube! And my concern is, if something like this is going on at IHOP KC, are there currently issues like this going on at other IHOPs? Could be, Tori. There's definitely other things going on in churches because we're going to look at a 215-page report of predators in churches around the United States. So that is twisty. IHOP KFC. IHOP KC survivors started a petition on change.org asking the ministry to invite Grace. And Grace is an independent organization, and this is all they do. Godly response to abuse in the Christian environment to conduct the investigation. At the time of publication, the petition had over 2,500 of its desired 5,000 signatures. We believe the gravity of these allegations cannot be understood nor adequately addressed should they be handled by parties that may carry the appearance of vested interest or potential biases, the open letter to IHOP KC leadership reads. The integrity of the IHOP KC organization and the well-being of its members hinge on a process that assures impartiality, thoroughness, and transparency. It also urged the ministry to refer victims to law enforcement or crisis hotlines instead of directing them to a pastoral care team that may be biased. Can you imagine? Let me go to this page. Sorry. Can you imagine that you have had a situation where you're a victim and something has happened and the church, the organization, the high control group keeps it in-house and wants you to go to counseling in the place that you were abused instead of encouraging you to go to law enforcement or the hospital or whatever? I cannot. And when we read the Grace report, y'all are gonna flip because they wanted the victims to go to Mike Bickle to talk it out. What? No. Let me tell you an experience real quick. There were multiple situations in the church that I grew up in where people were ushered out quietly and removed, and nobody was told why they were removed. And we found out later there was a limited transparency in the church I grew up in. There was also a situation where one of the teenagers, content warning, adult minor interaction, but I'm not sure if it was an assault, but something happened between one of the adult volunteers with the youth group and a minor, 14, 15, 16 years old. And when the parents went to the pastor, they did not do anything to advocate for the minor. So the family ended up leaving the church because it seemed obvious that it wasn't a safe place for them anymore. They're not a part of that church anymore. No. The children's pastor was the only person. She had worked in a collegiate setting. She advocated for children. She was like, we train our workers. You do not touch this part of the body. You do not let kids sit in your lap. You are never going to be alone with a child. It's a 2-person rule in every situation. You do not have closed doors. Like, if you have to take kids to a bathroom break, the bathroom doors need to, not the stall doors, but the bathroom doors into the bathroom remain open. Like, there were so many things to protect kids, and that children's pastor was constantly shit upon by leadership because too many rules. Why do we need all this stuff? So there were people who gave a crap about kids in the church I grew up in, and also the leadership didn't see the importance of that. So when I read stories about what's going on in IHOP, my thought is, it shouldn't matter if you save face in a situation like this. The victim should be protected and advocated for, even if it burns down your entire organization. And the transparency of what goes on should matter. And yes, the identity of the victim should be protected, but also knowing what the hell's going on in your organization should be made known to the entire organization. It is also urged the ministry to refer victims to law enforcement or crisis hotlines instead of directing them to a pastoral care team that may be biased. In response, IHOP KC announced Friday that it has retained a local Kansas City law firm to conduct the interviews rather than Stinson LLP. In late October, 3 former heads of IHOP KC, Dwayne Roberts, Brian Kim, and Wes Martin, made the current ministry leadership aware of allegations of clergy essay by Mike Bickle, and they found to be credible and long-standing. The group of leaders claimed they confronted, we already read this, and then about the investigation, IHOP KC said, we understand that statements like this coming from our leadership team is new for our community, but what has occurred in the last week is unprecedented here at IHOP KC. Even in this time of crisis, we trust in the leadership of our Lord Jesus Christ. That is frustrating. I think what should have been said is, wherever the truth leads us, we're going to follow it and also make it available and easily accessible to people and to our congregation, because you deserve a truthful and transparent interaction, or truthful and transparent communication from our team, even if that leads us to removing people that you have fond feelings for. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Ashley. This is the petition that they were talking about. IHOP, in this process, after the International House of Prayer came up, the petition came up, said that Grace had never reached out to them for the investigation, and or never responded to their request to have them come investigate. And Grace basically said, "You're full of shit. You never contacted us because we've done an investigation for you before." Here is one of the... Okay. This is one of the Instagram posts by IHOP KC. Third parties that claim to represent alleged victims have communicated a lack of trust in the national law firm IHOP KC engaged to lead the inquiry. After careful consideration, our leadership team has decided not to proceed with Stinson LLP, and instead has retained a local KC law firm to conduct interviews with alleged victims. The local law firm has already begun outreach to the few, y'all, you're still trying to protect yourself in these, and it's not, it makes me so mad. The few alleged victims whose identities are known, as well as the individuals claiming to represent anonymous Jane Does. I'm sorry. IHOP KC is committed to investigate any allegations of abuse in our organization in a way that honors privacy, safety, and due process. They forgot to say to themselves. Oh wait, they may mean to everybody. I'm sorry. I'm like getting irritated by the way they say stuff. It is our sincere desire to serve and assist every alleged victim in order to see truth and light come forth during this sensitive and challenging time. What a bullshit post. I think it rubs the same chord in me that family channels bring up, that minors don't matter because they don't have power. And I hate that. I hate this so much. Oops. Okay. We're going to copy this. We're going to go over to Safari. Sorry for making everyone sick. Paste. We need the book view. We need the book view. International House of Prayer in Kansas City will add independent third-party groups to investigate. What are we doing, computer? No! There we go. Sorry. We're wilding out over here. Third-party groups to investigation of Mike Bickle. Grace denies IHOP ever contacted them about a possible review of its recent report. In addition to using a law firm to conduct an independent investigation of Mike Bickle, The executive leadership team at the international... I'm sorry, my audio is just really dirty today. Okay. IHOP has contacted... IHOP KC has also contacted third parties to conduct an independent evaluation of its initial findings. It also promised to promote more frequent updates about the investigation. Can I just say this? This is their initial report, and it's going to make your blood boil. This is IHOP's initial report via Word document, okay? In my opinion, you hire a law firm for yourself, and then you have an independent group do the investigation, because that's the right thing to do, in my opinion. The independent group coming in that has no, loyalty to you, and they're going to go where the truth leads them, and then you can release that report, would have been way better than this. Sure, I know it's not the only organization. There's a lot, and it's not just churches. It's absolutely not just churches. Report on initial findings, November 15th, 2023. Introduction. 3 weeks ago, on October 24th, a group of men, led by a local Kansas City pastor, the Complaint Group, officially presented IHOP KC's executive leadership team, ELT, with a series of allegations against Mike Bickle, allegedly made by 8 women whom the Complaint Group claimed to represent. Does 8 seem like a few? To me, a few is like 3. A couple is 2. A few is 3. Maybe 4. You've got 8, okay? 8 is not a few. We just read the Instagram post. There's a few alleged victims. 8 is not few. After 3 weeks of examination, IHOP KC has identified 5 of 8 alleged victims. Oh my gosh. Glad you're here. Yes, it is the International House of Prayer, not pancakes. Oh. And yes, they did get sued over that. A few is like 3 to 4, not almost 10. After 3 weeks of examination, IHOP KC has identified 5 of 8 alleged victims. 3 of those 5 have publicly called the allegations lies. Have they? A 4th has not wanted to communicate with IHOP KC's attorney. No shit. And the 5th allegation relate to incidents that preceded IHOP KC's founding. So you're saying that somebody who allegedly was abused by Mike Bickle before he started IHOP KC, that doesn't matter. What? What are we talking about? Is this a joke? It happened before he started IHOP KC, so what Mike Bickle did to her doesn't matter? Oh, Eclectic Mima. I'm sending you lots of empathy. You don't have to share if you don't have to share. Just, I'm glad to see you. I hope that things improve. That's just the ones that came forward. Who knows how many victims there truly are? Yep. The 5th allegations relate to incidents that preceded IHOP KC's founding. Further, it became apparent that the complaint group did not have permission to include at least 4 of the women in their list of alleged victims. So the victims were still victims, but the issue is the complaint group had them on a list that the alleged victims didn't approve of. So then those people are not victims anymore. What? Why is this the worst PR statement of all time? We remain committed to verifying the remaining allegations, but we need the complaint group to assist in our inquiry of the remaining alleged victims to ensure their veracity, there is much at stake in getting to the truth. There's much at stake for IHOP in getting to the truth. And you going and trying to pry into the alleged victims, maybe they don't want to talk to you. Oh, shocker. Shocker. Yes, I can see why the victims might not want to dredge this all up after so long, but they're still victims. Yes. I'm mostly picking on the way that IHOP KC wrote this awful PR piece or report. I'm just shocked. Like many of you, we were deeply troubled and distressed to learn that the multiple allegations against Mr. Bickle. The ELT took these allegations very seriously. Did you? And within 24 hours began the process of looking into the details, as well as asking Mr. Bickle to step away from public ministry to allow for a proper inquiry to be conducted. Remember this paragraph when we read the other information, because guess what? They've asked Mr. Bickle to step away from things before, and they just removed him from the record of the meeting notes, and he was still leading meetings. So tell me how much power Mr. Bickle has unchecked in IHOP. Yes, exactly, Demi. Within days, the ELT commenced consultation of outside legal experts on how to conduct a proper examination of the facts and how to best handle the situation. This is bullshit because they've had Grace come in before for someone. They've had Grace come in before because of allegations of sexual misconduct from another employee. They know about the third party. They didn't like what the report said, and the report was so detailed, we're going to read it. And they didn't do anything. So you're saying you wanted to do an investigation, in my opinion, that wasn't as thorough as a Grace report would be. So you went to a law firm that was on your dime to do an investigation and give you something that you could properly, reframe so it looked best for someone reading it. I'm going to calm down for a second. Take a break for a second. Yep, and we're going to read about that happened in this other Grace report that they did. No, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is not involved in this investigation, but maybe they should be. Yeah, get a crochet project, get a knitting project, maybe get some paints to color with. I know that it's important for me to try to stay calm. I probably will start crying. I'm not trying to manipulate y'all. Lying makes me really upset. Lying to protect your abusive power makes me upset. Churches and organizations where people are giving you trust in their finances and then taking advantage of that and basically, poo-pooing on them for wanting transparency makes me really grumpy. It isn't a soup cup. I just made a big cup of coffee. This is not even the bad part. The Grace report is shocking. Significantly, at all times, the allegations were treated as if they were credible in order to care for any past or present victim, while objective due diligence was to be performed. However, upon review by outside legal counsel, it was determined that the collection and presentation of the allegations by the complaint group lacked any semblance of reliability or due process. The complaint group was a group of former employees from IHOP, one pastor. They're not attorneys. They were trying to advocate for alleged victims of Mike Bickle and came to you and you did nothing. And now you're saying that it wasn't as proper as you wanted. It wasn't as legalese as you wanted. So it's invalid. Excuse me? Diamond painting is the best. Hi, Shelby. We're raging about religious cults. Shelby, I'm gonna read this again because this is so. Shelby, the complaint group is a group of people who were former employees of IHOP, and one is a pastor. They have the alleged victims. I don't know how the connection happened, but they found out about alleged victims of Mike Bickle, SA wise, and then went to Mike Bickle to say what the heck's going on. He didn't listen, so they made a formal statement, and then they brought the complaint to IHOP. IHOP got a law firm involved, and then the law firm is saying, however, upon review by outside legal counsel, it was determined that the collection and presentation of the allegations by the complaint group lacked any semblance of reliability or due process. What? I love that. And I love, like, there's ethical Christians out there. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I hope your lunch is delicious. The document prepared by the complaint group to accompany the presentation of allegations on October 24th does not contain any actual evidence. No statements from the victims, whether sworn or unsworn. Due process is about the government, not random concerned citizens. No emails, texts, or other exhibits between Mr. Bickle and the alleged victim to substantiate the allegations, only blank squares acting as exhibit placeholders. You're telling me that Mike Bickle, who allegedly has been a predator for over 40 years, would leave a paper trail or an electronic trail that people would be able to get him in trouble? He's been in power for such a long time. You're telling me he does not know how to keep things secret? Give me a break. Just because you don't have a text message, you don't have a recording, you don't have evidence, doesn't mean that what happened to you is false. People are using legalese to hide the truth. Yes, there are terms of art you might have to use, but being purposely obtuse is ridiculous. We need to get the clip from Harry Potter, the ridiculous. The complaint group's allegations were also presented along with a list of pre-prepared demands to prevent escalating levels of disclosure. These demands and threats, which included dictating the use of IHOP KC's funds, generated an atmosphere of concern regarding the true objective of the complaint group. Why do y'all have an issue about that? You have unchecked power, and you're saying if you don't take a good look at this, we're going to release this information. We're going to go to the press. We're going to apply pressure because your power is unchecked. That's one of the powers of free speech. I don't understand. Okay, Martzmaniac, I'll check. Oh, sweet. Okay. Initial findings. On the week of October 24th, the complaint group presented a list of 8 alleged victims to the IHOP KC leadership team. The group did not and has not claimed that these women had ever previously made their allegations known to IHOP KC prior to October 2023. Should it matter? Oh my God. Just because you have the sudden courage to go and tell somebody what's happened to you, and then they say, nobody ever came and told us before this. Oh, I don't know. Somebody with unchecked power? You're going to say a victim's going to feel comfortable to come and tell you that the person at the very top, the top pyramid performer in this organization who has ultimate power, that was a safe environment for someone to come say, this person allegedly sexually abused me? Oh my God. There's a reason victims don't come forward. It's because of treatment like this. People don't just make up these allegations for shits and giggles. You don't have to tell someone who essayed you that they did that before you go to the police. People in power always try to blame victims. Yep, and it happens. It absolutely happens. Your brain is going to protect you. That's why you have situations where sometimes you remember it way far out from what happened, or you do it in the presence of a licensed clinician who can help you work through that. But your brain is wired to help protect you. Your tactics suck just to win. However, it has been okay. Let me just put it on screen. However, it has become abundantly clear over the last 3 weeks that 4 of the women were presented as alleged victims without their consent. So they're still alleged victims. Some of the complaint group's allegations were presented in a document, and some of the allegations were presented orally in conversation. They're not lawyers. This isn't a legal case. They're saying something's wrong. Your leader in chief is doing things that a leader should not do. And here, we're trying to give you the information. They may not do it perfectly, and then you are nitpicking that they didn't do it in a specific way, so everything's off the table for its, for the truthfulness of what it is. Give me a break. Oh my God, Mort's Maniac, I'm sorry. Yeah, Patricia, I'm sorry that happened to you. Can you imagine if the law required you to tell the person who assaulted you, I'm going to move this down here, and I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to change this to one color so we can all see it, because I don't know what I was thinking before. Oh, we can make it our red color. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. It's a nod to freaking IHOP. There we go. Can you imagine if the law required you to tell the person who assaulted you before you could file a police report? That's so fucked up. I can't even. I'm still not past that logic. I didn't even realize what happened to me was wrong until I talked about it in therapy, and the therapist looked at me like, that is not your fault, and it was not right. I didn't know. I'm sorry, Cena. Oh, you walked into fuckery, Broken Flowers. International House of Prayer in Kansas City is a church organization that they have 24/7 prayer and worship. They've been doing it since 1999. The leader of that has been alleged to have been abusing people before he started IHOP and after. and the organization they brought in to investigate is basically saying that the 3 individuals who said, hey, something is wrong here, didn't present the information in a legally satisfying way, so that nothing's valid, basically. I know other channels have done videos on this. I just wanted to talk through this with y'all as well. I would love that even if you could send it to me later on. Why is my DC down here? Sorry. Even if you send it like way later on, I'd love to see it. 3 women were identified by their initials in the document. An additional 5 anonymous Jane Does are listed in the document, but the complaint group would not share their names or any details about these allegations, or how these women came to be represented by the complaint group. So they were protecting the victim's privacy in this process, and you're upset about that. Okay. Now, I don't know. Maybe the lawyers in the chat can tell me. When you're doing an investigation like this, do you have to share the names of the individuals with the investigating firm? Oh, thank you, Holy Bible. Sending my love to the victims of SA here. Oh my God, coconuts. Then, IHOP KC was given the names of 2 additional women orally during conversations that took place the week of October 24th. 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 2 is 10, which does not meet the definition of few. 10 is a decent number. When they said they want to protect people's privacy, they didn't mean the privacy of the victims. The court does its redaction normally, especially if the allegations happen during childhood. Oh my gosh, coconuts, I'm glad the VP came down. That should not have happened. At that point, a total of 5 alleged victims had been identified by name. Alleged victim 1. Okay, so we're going to be going into descriptions, and I think it's important to read. I know it's long. It's important. It's an important part of the story. So if this, again, we're talking about SA, there's going to be some CA coming up not in this document, but in another document, religious manipulation, abuse of power. I should have put abuse of power. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to like do different stuff on my stream. Abuse of power. All right. That's awesome, coconuts. I'm glad the VP stood up for you. Yep. Alleged victim number 1, unable to verify. According to the complaint group, the first of the named victims, named by her initials, alleged Mr. Bickle emotionally pursued and prophetically manipulated her more than 25 years ago. The allegations contain only 6 short lines of text and is non-sexual. It contains no first-person statements by the alleged victim herself. IHOP KC has been made aware of evidence that suggests this woman was contacted by a member of the complaint group in early October in an attempt to recruit her to be part of the alleged victim group. It remains unclear if she gave permission for her name to be included as an alleged victim. You pieces of shit who wrote this. I know you have to advocate zealously for your client. If this was supposed to be a report on what is going on, this is so bad. When you say recruit her, there's sometimes you feel more confident to be a part of a group if more people are speaking up, because you could be absolutely terrified to do it by yourself and you could still be scared, but being able to speak up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people sometimes gives you the courage to be able to say, like, I was harmed too. I was harmed as well. Oh, and it's just like, hey, we're going to recruit you. Like, come on down to this group so, like, you can do it too. If she was harmed, she was harmed. Per federal law and multiple state laws, CSA has a longer statute of limitations past the 40 to 50 year status for SA to be filed for charges to occur. Yes, Pickleness, it can be so hard for the first person to speak. And they weren't just speaking up against one of the staff members or a volunteer, which would still be hard. They're speaking up against the leader, the founder, kind of this godlike figure who's placed on a pedestal at IHOP KC. They're speaking up against that guy. So it could be even harder. The alleged victim number 2, partial credibility established. The second and only detailed allegation is from 26 years ago, before IHOP KC was founded. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it happened before IHOP KC was founded, what the hell that would be important to know. If you have a pattern of abusing people, of using your power to manipulate those that are under your influence, that should be meaningful in the congregation saying, no, you don't get to be in power here anymore. Yeah, and I think for legality ways, and I'm not a lawyer, obviously, they have to use alleged. The allegations include physical contact between Mr. Bickle and an adult woman. It is also insinuated that Mr. Bickle may have committed a crime. IHOP KC has not been able to determine whether this criminal allegation has any credibility. Why? Because you're only listening to Mike? IHOP KC has not been able to determine whether this criminal allegation has any credibility. Nonetheless, in light of the detail provided, IHOP KC immediately asked Mr. Bickle to step away from his ministry at the church while the allegation was further investigated. Our attorney then reached out to this alleged victim by phone and email on November 9th without success. Then on November 10th, we learned that the founder of Grace was the attorney representing her regarding these allegations. IHOP KC's attorney was able to make initial contact with this attorney on November 13th and 15th. Notice how there's no little summation at the bottom. I feel anxious, but I'm getting too hot to have this on my lap. I'll put this way. Alleged victim number 3 refuted. This also, I'm just going to say this, because alleged perpetrators are innocent until proven guilty in the U.S. Yep. Yeah. And it's important. It is important. I've read a lot of this already, so I've obviously got strong opinions about Mike Bickle. But I think it's also important, like what Chelsea said. that the rule of law is, and how we also protect the innocent. Or we try to, at least. Hey, Aridil. I think so too, Holy Bible. I think it's difficult. I think it's very difficult. A third alleged victim asserts that a woman, again named by her initials, was a victim of being pursued emotionally and prophetic manipulation from 2013 to 2018. On November 2nd, this woman issued a public statement that she is not a victim of Mike Bickle. The woman also sent a letter to IHOP Casey's attorney stating that the complaint group were bullies and that she never gave them permission to use her name. This also happens sometimes where she could have, the complaint group could be bullies. And there's also situations where victims are scared when information goes public and they retract their statements because of fear of what other people knowing the information will do. Alleged victim number 4 refuted. This is all, I would say, allegedly refuted, but here we are. On October 31st, a woman who was identified orally in conversation by the leader of the complaint group to be a part of the alleged victim group issued a lengthy public statement that she was not a victim of Mr. Bickle. Her statement also detailed that she had been contacted by a member of the complaint group who basically insinuated and assumed, based on something that was said secondhand about me years ago, that I was Mike's victim. She stated that she told them very clearly that she did not want to be contacted again on this issue and did not want to have anything to do with the accusations coming against Mr. Bickle. That could be true, and also it could be true that she did not want the mob mentality of people who love Mike Bickle to come against an individual if they still live in the area. That could be a situation too. Okay, Aridel. Yeah, I know it's a heavy stream. It's a very heavy stream. Have a good day. Alleged victim number 5 refuted. On the same day, October 31st, another alleged victim released a public statement via her social media account refuting any claims that she had ever been aid or spiritually abused by Mr. Bickle, and that any claims to the contrary were lies. This woman has been named by the complaint group orally during the October 24 ELT meeting. Our attorney spoke to this woman 10 days after she released her statement, and she maintained her emphatic denial of any misconduct by Mr. Bickle toward her or any sexual involvement from him. Alleged victim number 6 refuted. Then on November 3rd, when we're looking at this report and when you're about to look at the Grace report, you're going to see the difference in what an excellent investigation looks like and whatever this is. I'm going to pull my hair out. Probably why I'm overheating. Alleged victim number 6 refuted. Then on November 3rd, IHOP KC leadership received an email from a woman who heard that her name was being used as part of the allegations and presented against Mr. Bickle. Her name did not come up at the October 24 ELT meeting, but she is the 6th woman whose name has emerged. She approached IHOP KC's leadership team to let them know that these rumors were not true. She expressed that she was hurt to find out that her name was being used as part of these allegations and wrote an email to the ELT group, ELT, emphatically denying that any form of abuse or any inappropriate relationship with Mr. Bickle had ever taken place. She is the 5th woman to refute that she is an alleged victim. So, if we go back to the beginning, there was 5 plus 3 plus 2. We have 6. 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So where is the rest of the alleged victim, statements? Yeah. And again, don't wreck your mental health for a stream. Absolutely. Like, take care of yourself. This is the conclusion. IHOP KC has heard the demands to bring in a third party to investigate the organization in general, but there it is. But this step is premature until IHOP KC can establish the credibility of the allegations and genuine intent of the complaint group. No, no, no. Let me say this again. Let me say this 12 billion times. Organizations can stand up to scrutiny, and if they're being scrutinized and they end up falling apart, why is that? Because maybe information comes out that is important for the public to know. This whole situation where they're saying this step is premature until IHOP KC can establish the credibility of the allegations and genuine intent of the complaint group. No. If there's allegations of sexual misconduct, the situation is we're going to find out and help the victims if there are victims, and we're going to hire the organization that really is third party unbiased, the Grace organization. And even if it shows that we're at fault, we're okay with that because the truth is the most important and standing up for victims is important. We're going to find out some stuff in the Grace report. I don't know. I didn't look into the victims because this is more about Mike Bickle and IHOP to me. But we're going to see a pattern. We're going to see a pattern of fuckery at IHOP. Okay, Frogzim, thanks for stopping in. Also, your floof is so cute. Oh, yeah. I can imagine that the potential is there, that maybe some of these, that the pressure, if you've never been a part of a church organization, if you've never been a part of IHOP, if you've never visited IHOP, you don't know the pull of feeling like you're doing something that is collectively attempting to bring Jesus back faster. If you're not a Christian, that probably sounds awful. If you are a Christian, I'm trying to explain it so that people who are not religious understand that the group identity is so strong that I can see the threat of not being a part of that group or threatening the group leader would be terrifying. And maybe when you're by yourself or if you're with an advocate and talking about your experience, you feel brave then. And then you go back and you're inserted into the influential sphere of being a part of IHOP or whatever other high control group that you're a part of. And you could change your story. I could see the issues there. Yep. This is a conflict of interest, in my opinion. Yep. So, we hope that by sharing our preliminary findings regarding these allegations, you will understand why it is premature at this juncture to have a third party conduct a community-wide investigation. IHOP KC remains open to inviting a third party or even multiple third parties to examine these findings. It is our sincerest desire that alleged anonymous Jane Does would come forward. Look at this. IHOP KC remains open to inviting a third party or even multiple third parties to examine these findings. It is our sincerest desire that alleged anonymous Jane Does would come forward as soon as possible, either directly to IHOP KC's attorney via the complaint group or through their own legal representative so that IHOP KC can take the appropriate next steps. Hi, Rise. Good to see you. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, it's April, isn't it? Let's do some gifted memberships. Let's do some surprise and delights because this is a heavy ass stream. Okay, YouTube. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Let's gift some memberships. I'm gonna gift 5, okay? Hopefully. Oh no, I have some for this month. Okay, I have 5 more. I forgot to gift them in March. I know April's on Monday. Sorry. Let's go again. We've got 5 more. Sarah got one, MF got one, Shinestar got one, Shirley Positive, Doggy Doodles got one. I know. I'm gonna give some more on. I got confused. Frogzim got one, Maya got one, CE got one, Holy Bible got one. Hopefully that is a surprise and delight for y'all. And when it's actually April, we'll do 10 more on Monday, okay? Hopefully I can get you one, Rise. And we'll do some fun members only streams. Hi Maya. Alright. We'll do a welcome to Illyria because like the stream's heavy as hell. And then we'll get back to the awfulness.
Horatio Gold, headmaster.
Sorry,
So
Aya.
very pleased to meet you. So very, very pleased.
Hello, sir. Heard you wanted to see me.
I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to Illyria. Welcome to Illyria. I just wanted to have you in to say welcome.
At the end when he's singing and she goes, she's trying to pull, she's pretending to be a boy. She's pretending to be her brother at a school. So she's in her soccer gear and she's wrapped her, she's kind of flattened her chest down with this like ace bandage wrap. And she's like, that's it. They know. And she's like pulling it out of her, shirt or whatever. And then she's like, oh, file. So she's looking through the files. He comes in. She shoves the file door shut and she gets the ace bandage wrap stuck. So she's trying to pull it out as he's singing Welcome to Illyria. And it's just a fun little scene. Oh my god, MLM Note, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Holy crap. Also, I cannot wait for your video. Are you doing a live stream or a video? Patty the Batty, what's up? I'm glad you love the movie. I hope that people watch it. It's called She's the Man. It's based off of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Hey, Denise. Yeah, if you come, if I don't know if you're available, we're gonna hang out on my stream and then we're gonna go raid Jen's stream. So I'm gonna try to give 10 more memberships on Monday. Video first, but open to streaming. Okay. Well, if you want to do a co-stream to like ease into it, let me know. We can set something up. I'm getting background noise because my chili pad is on and I forgot to turn it off. For sure. All right, let's get back. Oh, there I am. Gifted memberships. Okay. All right. Close. So we're kind of moving through here. These were their press releases. This was the references for what we were reading in the articles. I wanted to have everything linked for you guys. Where is... Well, let's watch a video. Oh, wait, we need to read this one first. We just read the report from IHOP. This is the report that IHOP never reached out, because IHOP was saying, "Oh, we reached out to Grace and it's too early to do that, but we reached out and they didn't want to. They said they couldn't help us." And that is patently false. Okay. Investigative firm Grace says IHOP KC never contacted them about Mike Bickle allegations. This is from November 22nd, 2023. The Virginia-based organization Grace, funded by attorney Boz Chividian, has shot down claims that many leaders of the International House of Prayer, Kansas City, that they made multiple attempts to contact the organization about investigating sexual abuse allegations against their founder, Mike Bickle. Didn't we just read that it was too early to do anything? And then IHOP was saying, "Oh, we reached out and they didn't, we made multiple attempts." And Grace is like, "You did not. You did not. Liar, liar, pants on fire." Following a review of communication channels, to our knowledge, Grace has never received any inquiries or communication from current IHOP KC leadership regarding recent allegations, Grace said in a statement to the Christian Post. Grace, the godly response to abuse in the Christian environment, responded to IHOP KC's recent announcement stating that it had placed national law firm Stinson LLP replaced with a local law firm to investigate the allegations against Bickle to avoid the appearance of vested interests or potential biases. A collective of former IHOP KC staff, students, and members launched an online petition endorsed by over 3,200 people calling on IHOP to use Grace as a third-party reviewer. In a November 15th statement, IHOP KC leaders stated that they made multiple attempts to connect with Grace and no one responded to them. I think I have this one. I just want to make sure that if people are like, where's your sources? Did we save this? Let me just link this just to be safe. I think I did. Letter, 11:15. Yeah, we have this one. All right. It's right here. I got distracted. I was nervous. Why we cannot hire Grace. All right, let's look at this. As stated above, IHOP KC did not retain its current attorney to conduct a community-wide investigation into the allegations, but to conduct a preliminary examination into the allegations presented to us on October 24th. Nevertheless, we are not opposed to having an outside group come to KC to review our initial findings. However, Grace cannot be that third party. Last week on November 9th, IHOP KC made multiple attempts to reach out to Grace to explore the possibility of having their investigators come to review our findings. Grace did not respond. Okay? The ministry further contends, so we're now back to the article. The ministry further contends that Grace can't be hired for the independent investigation because Chividian, who is a member of Grace's board, is representing one of the women who is an alleged victim of Bickle. Responding to the questions from CP on Tuesday, IHOP KC said they are in talks. Oh my God, Michelle! Oh my God, thank you so much. Melissa A got one, Nikki Reed got one, Wee Wee got one, Aaron H got one, and Seattle. Thank you. Y'all are being wild with the memberships. As Marilyn Honing says, even Jesus showed receipts. I love that. Welcome to Illyria. Oops. Please hold.
Horatio Gold, headmaster. So very pleased to meet you. So very, very pleased.
Hello, sir. Heard you wanted to see me.
I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to Illyria. Welcome, 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 welcome to Illyria. I just wanted to have you in to say welcome.
We're moving on up on the members. Yes, thank you so much, Michelle. What soundbite would you like? Let me know. Responding to questions from CP on Tuesday, IHOP KC said they are in talks with multiple third parties to review the ministry's recent report on initial findings, which suggested the evidence presented against the ministry's founder remains lacking. Okay, that's just a quote from the report. IHOP KC's leadership team said the law firms they chose are very experienced in representing victims of SA, including victims of clergy abuse and victims in the Boy Scouts of America. Simply put, IHOP KC had been adhering to due process to verify the allegations presented to it, and until IHOP KC is able to verify these allegations, it cannot move forward with an investigation. Can I tell y'all something? This reminds me of Jehovah's Witness a little bit. And if you are, just give me a second. If there are complaints of sexual abuse within Jehovah's Witness, you have to have 2 witnesses and one of them cannot be the victim. What? So nothing gets verified because predators are very, very, very sneaky because they're trying to get away with awful things. And you're saying you have to have 2 witnesses and one of them cannot be the victim? Don't trust me. Watch one of the hearings with the Jehovah's Witnesses that's like on YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry, Mart's Maniac. It's horrifying. It's just that vibe is what this sounds like. Because the group organization that the allegations are towards cannot verify it, we're not going to move forward with an investigation. Wouldn't you need really good investigators to make sure nothing untoward is happening in your organization? We can do a floof break. We may have to like do this in multiple parts because it's a lot. All right, how are we going to do this? Send me your floofs on... You can send me your floofs on Instagram. Oh, here we go. There we go. I can put it on my phone. This is going to be easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We can be smart together. Is this it? No. Is this it? Yes? Is this it? Oh, no. Is this it? Yes? Is this it?
Whoa.
No. Okay, what's going on my phone? I'm sorry. I'm probably making y'all cry with all of mine. There we go. Look at these BBs. Look how cute. Thumbs downer. Have the day you deserve. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's the reason you never got justice? Oh my god. If y'all want to send me your floofs, you can do it on Instagram. I'll just put it on screen. Put it on screen. Oops. Hold on. Oh. Wait, where is that? Hold on. I'm looking for Wendy's thing. Real quick. Sorry. I got distracted. Patty the Batty. Look at that floofy. Look at this. Look at this baby. Look at this perfection I think it's at the dog park. Cute. Oh, I'm trying not to like. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this baby. Look at Kate's baby. Make on it. They're coming in. I'm trying to. Oh my god, wait, there's a cat. There's a cat. Look at this baby. Look at this. Look at the perfection of these murder mittens. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this baby. Look at this baby. Oh my goodness. Trying to. Oh, little babies. Look at these puppies. Look at these cuties. Oh my goodness. They look like little cows with their little spots. Cute. My mom's dog and the puppy daddy and a pic of the puppies. Cute. Oh, jeez. In the worst, most entire teenage years, I have to see those awful men until I reach 18. Oh, I'm sorry. A murder. Look at this murder mittens with snuggling. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Your cat is adorable. It's hugging a stuffy. Look at the yarn. Love the yarn moment, Kate. I'm being a nosy creeper. I love all those. Is that yarn or thread? It looks like yarn. I love your cat. My choice? Ooh. What song do we want to play? Let's look in the audio folder. Oops.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. Most everyone's mad here.
Most everyone's mad here. Oh, that's okay. I just thought it was easier to do it on my phone. You have a knitting machine? Have I ever been more jealous of Kate in my whole life? No. Oh my god. Also, I started another project. Alright, we'll do another floof break in a minute. We may just like split this up, but I'm not sure. This is kind of what we've read before. Listen to this. Grace, we're going to read this report. Because the Grace report that was done in the past was leaked on the Roy's report, and we read part of it on the members only stream, but we're going to read it right now. Grace conducted an investigation in 2018 into any and all allegations of SA and or misconduct against Brad Tebbett. Brad Tebbett was whatever they call their employee volunteers. Oh my god, I love it. Hello, Mr. Kate. This concluded in 2019. Robert Peters, Grace's Director of Institutional Response, noted in a statement to CP, Christian Post, The final report was released to leadership at IHOP KC, and Grace made recommendations in that report. We remember the awful report that IHOP KC's legal team put out. This is the report that Grace did. Okay? Can we go full screen? I don't want to see this. There we go. Someone leaked this report. Thank God someone leaked this report. It won't go through. Hold on. Post merge. Okay, now try it again. I moved you into primary. Okay, we're doing more floofs real quick. Hold on. We're doing some more floofs. Look at this baby in bunny ears. Oh my God. Look at this little nugget. Oh my goodness. Happy Easter. Oh my God. What a cutie. I want Caspian to have some Easter bunny stuff. Okay, hold on. That was a duplicate. Oh my God. Look at the vibes. Look at the luxurious fur. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, look at this baby and the toys and the tug. Oh my God. Cute. What a nugget. Oh my God. Look at this. It need a belly scratch. What a baby. What a baby. Oh. Look at this loaf. Look at this perfection. A perfect cat loaf, if I've ever seen one. Oh my God. Cute. Cute. We'll do another flute break. We'll do another one. Wait. Oh my God. Cute. What a sleepy baby. We got 2 snuggle buns. Oh my God. I love it. 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 All right. It's regenerated my soul a little bit. This is the Grace report that was leaked to setting to be accepted to chat. Okay. Follow back. Sorry, I get lots of Hold on. I don't see it yet. Are you the Holy Bible? View hidden requests. I don't see it yet. But we'll do it. Well, okay. I don't see it yet, but maybe are you trying to do say hello to DC? Oh my God, that's hilarious, coconuts. We will do another floof break in about 30 minutes. Executive summary. Look at the professionalism. I know that someone took a picture and leaked it. Thank God. We love a whistleblower here. There's their logo. They have footnotes on every single page. Executive summary prepared by Godly Response to Abuse in the Christian Environment for International House of Prayer. The 1 and the 2 refer to hereafter we will utilize the acronym IHOP, and the number 1, Godly Response to Abuse in the Christian Environment, is also known as GRACE. Hereafter, in the summary, we utilize the acronym GRACE. For more information about GRACE, see netgrace.org. Oh, good, Smurge! Can I zoom in more on this? Of course we can. We're in eCam. What am I even doing with my life? After, we're gonna read all this, okay? So just be prepared. Go grab a snack. Oh, hey, Miss Yvonne. Introduction, scope, and methodology. Can we just appreciate how professional this looks and how... Oh, I'm a little bit too zoomed in. Hold on. There we go. Yoink. Sorry, I didn't realize the pictures were gonna be... Look at all the footnotes. Look at how much information is in this report about Brad Tebbutt. And they got a report. Or they may still be working on the report, but this report I think took 5 months to compile. Okay. There it is. All right, I just put you in primary. Try to send the pictures one more time. I got you now. After news of sexual misconduct allegations surfaced in early 2018 regarding Brad Tebbutt, 2018 to 2019, 2019 to 2020, 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022, 2022 to 2023, 2023 to 2024. Just keep that in mind as we read this. IHOP's then director of the Simeon Company internship. Another person in power behaving awfully. Yes, we got the photo. Oh my god. Okay, we can't wait for this one. We cannot wait for this one. Just please hold. Just look at this baby. Look at this nugget. How adorable. Recharge your soul for what we're about to read, because holy crap, look at this baby. Look at the eyes. Look at the flexibility. I feel like one of those cat judges when they're holding it out. Like, look at the length of the, I don't know, the torso, and look at the little murder mittens. Look how cute they are. Oh my god. Cute. Holy Bible, what a baby. Adorable. Adorable. His name is Milo. I love it. Now back. IHOP engaged Grace on March 28th, 2018 to conduct an independent investigation regarding these allegations. As described in the engagement agreement, IHOP engaged Grace to investigate any and all known allegations of sexual abuse and or misconduct against Brad Tebbutt. The 3 areas of focus shall be: 1. At or during the time Brad Tebbutt was employed at the former First Baptist Church of Modesto, California. 2. At or during the time Brad Tebbutt was employed by Horizon Christian High School. Oh my god. And 3. At or during the time Brad Tebbutt has been employed by IHOP. This shall be determined primarily through an online survey that shall be made available to a limited segment of the IHOP community and to be identified and determined by agreement between Grace and IHOP. The scope of this investigation shall also include: A. Whether IHOP had knowledge of any such allegations and how it responded, and B. Assess the actions the current IHOP leadership has taken since being notified of the sexual abuse allegations against Brad Tebbutt. We are Rose. Send it to me on Instagram. We're going to do another one in about 25 minutes. They did not. These were all like they just did investigations and interviews and fact finding. They did not do a polygraph. although Murdaugh is about to have his plea agreement yeeted to infinity because he did lie on his polygraph. And you got to go listen to Emily D. Baker about it because she was explaining it. It's bad. In June, Grace released a survey related to Part 3 of the investigation and inquired about IHOP's handling in response to these allegations as noted in the engagement agreement. IHOP sent the survey to 311 individuals. Again, look at this lovely footnote. To date, the survey has the survey was accessed 193 times. Grace conducted 12 interviews. In the pages that follow, Grace provides finding of fact, analysis, and recommendations related to the matters raised in this investigation. Can we just appreciate the difference between this and that firm that IHOP hired? Number 2, finding of fact and analysis regarding the allegations of sexual abuse and or misconduct against Brad Tebbett. Findings of fact, Part 1. Right, it's not admitted as evidence, but if you look at the plea agreement, the Fed said if you lie to us at all, everything's revoked. And he agreed to it. It's not admissible in court, but it was a bad thing that he agreed to. You have to listen to Emily D. Baker because she explained it, but yes, they're not admissible in court. I love that, Chris. Just give all your floof some snuggles for me. This is International House of Prayer. The leader, Mike Bickle, was accused of sexual misconduct with, from what I can count, 10 people. And IHOP lied about asking for a third party to come in. This is evidence they've had a third party come in before. We read IHOP's lawyer's report that was 1.25 pages. And then someone leaked this old report from 2018 because there were sexual misconduct allegations with another leader within the church. And in this report, Grace says there are things that we have found that are not directly related to this, but have to do with sexual misconduct allegations with other individuals within IHOP. We recommend that you do something about it. And IHOP didn't do anything. 10. Yep. And IHOP's firm said all of these have been refuted except for 2, and they only listed 6, even though there was 10 listed as potential people who had spoken up about sexual misconduct against them by Mike Bickle. And now we're reading this report because this report tells us that they knew back in 2018 that something was up. You think it was a rookie mistake? It's interesting, though, because Alex Murdaugh was a big-time lawyer for a long time, and his dad and his grandpa were big-time lawyer people in their community, and, I don't know why he looked at it and was like, yeah, we'll sign this. Unless he was so egotistical that he thought he could beat a polygraph. Yeah, they also got sued over it, Chris. Grace reached out to the alleged finding of fact regarding Part 1, First Baptist Church of Modesto, California. Grace reached out to the alleged victim, hereafter referred to as Jane Doe. And all of these have footnotes. Look at all these footnotes. Look how professional this is. And to 3 additional witnesses who reportedly have information regarding the allegations that are the subject of this investigation. None of these witnesses provided an interview to Grace. Grace also reached out to the alleged perpetrator, Brad Tebbett. Mr. Tebbett declined to speak with Grace. The only information related to these allegations, which was provided to Grace, comes from A. Grace interviews with individuals who spoke to Mr. Tebbett after these allegations surfaced. B. Mr. Tebbett's internship application to IHOP in 2012. Ugh! And C, additional materials provided by Grace by IHOP relating to IHOP's preliminary research into these matters. Why do I have a white border? Okay, sorry. These materials provided by IHOP include a fact sheet created by Mr. Tebbit in 2004 during his meetings with a psychologist, a 2005 okay, there is a polygraph report, so we can set that aside. A handful of emails and letters he reportedly exchanged with Jane Doe, and I'll read the footnotes. 2004, 2005, 2006, 2009, and IHOP's due diligence report and timeline, dated March 7, 2018. Apart from these data points, Grace received no additional information pertaining to Part 1 of the scope from the engagement agreement. Because Grace is unable to provide information regarding these alleged events from any witness with primary knowledge, Grace summarizes below the facts known to IHOP as well as any additional information provided by witnesses to Grace. A witness who has participated in the Simeon Company internship stated that this internship's focus is to prepare for the end times, grow in the Lord, grow in spirituality, and for the Simeons, we also want to walk with the younger generation. Tell me the guy leading the group, leading the Simeon Company, who we're going to find out is a predator. Their goal is to have connections with the younger generation. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? IHOP's website similarly describes the goal of the internship and states, the goal of this internship is to see each person filled with passion for Jesus, as well as turning toward the younger generation as a spiritual father or mother. We believe that unity between generations is an integral part of entering into the fullness of God's glory and plan for the church. The Simeon Company internship is for individuals age 50 plus. See IHOP KC internships and Simeon Company. These are all the people that the reports went out to. The 311 number includes the IHOP Executive Leadership Team, IHOP U Executive Management Team, IHOP U Faculty. Sorry, this is like... Yeah. IHOP U, IHOP University Faculty and Admin Corps, IHOP Security Department, past and present Simeon Company leadership, Forerunner Church leaders, and IHOP department leaders and past Simeon Company interns. It could be a cult of personality. It is a church out in Kansas City that's been around since 1999, and they are trying to progress the return of Jesus by worshiping and praying 24/7 since 1999. They now have a university where they train people in media to like sound, worship, like musicians, singers, multi-language situations so they can go to other countries. And the guy who started this, Mike Bickle, had unchecked power. And we come to find out that he has alleged sexual abuse victims who were trying to speak up. And IHOP is basically playing, we didn't do it. And yes, everyone is presumed innocent until they're found guilty. We can also see a history of them not doing appropriate things with the information that they've been given. And it's twisty. Why is this? Sorry, I'm just trying to fix this. So we can all see the words. Oh, dang it. We kind of started from the beginning, so if you miss some stuff, there's definitely some good info at the beginning of the stream. So they're being very thorough. Jane Doe has elected not to participate in the investigation due to the pendency of a lawsuit she filed against the First Baptist Church of Modesto. So that is concrete. That is a concrete piece of information. These witnesses were identified through news media reports about this matter. These witnesses were contacted but did not provide interviews to Grace. So they're not just basing this entire report on polygraphs. Look, though polygraphs may be useful for a number of legitimate law enforcement purposes, polygraph examination results are nearly always inadmissible in court. As documented by the American Psychologists Association, the accuracy, i.e. validity, of polygraph testing has long been controversial. An underlying problem is theoretical. There is no evidence that any pattern of physiological reactions is unique to deception. An honest person may be nervous when answering truthfully, and a dishonest person may be non-anxious. Evidence indicates that strategy used to beat polygraph examinations, so-called countermeasures, may be effective. See The Truth About Lie Detectors, aka Polygraph Tests, American Psychological Association, August 5th, 2004. I love that they put that in there because it really balances out the information that they are presenting to IHOP about what they found. I love that they... Yes. Yep. 10% and over 10% of like normal, and then they have love offerings for guest speakers to give above and beyond. They have special missions recruiting that they do. You're giving a lot of your money to an organization, and that doesn't mean that joining together with a group of people and giving your money towards something that you all value is wrong. If the organization is healing and restorative, that's great. That's on the healthy side of influence. If it's destructive, you've got red flags. %, pre-tax. Yep. What is known from the accounts? So, like, we're getting into the details. So, if y'all want to hop out, I understand. What is known from the accounts about these events provided by Mr. Tebbit is that from the summer of 1984 to the summer of 1988, Mr. Tebbit served FBC Modesto as a youth intern minister. While he was a youth intern minister, he spent time with youth in the junior high ministry, August 1984 to August 1985. Sarah's High School, September 1985 to May 1986. Byers High School, June 1986 to January 1988. And also with adults in the adult ministries, February 1988 to May 1988. He alleges that in the spring of 1987, when he was married and 28 years old, let me just do this again. There's a content warning for this stream. There's mention of SA, CA, religious manipulation, abuse of power. If this is too much, please pop out. There's going to be information that I'm going to read from this document, and then there's going to be a correction of that information by the information, by the documents that the victim has submitted for the lawsuit. From what I understand, it's bad. Jane Doe, who was then 15 years old, came to us in great need. Her father had died. She had a fractured relationship with her mother, and she was just coming out of a hurtful dating relationship. He explained that he and his wife took Jane Doe into our lives almost in a parenting role. Mr. Tebbit also described how Jane Doe stayed overnight in their home on 2 occasions. According to Mr. Tebbit, when Jane Doe was 16 years old, on approximately 5 occasions during a period of 6 to 9 months, he was alone with Jane Doe and was involved inappropriately. Mr. Tebbit described how he kissed and touched her breasts in his home. Mr. Tebbit denied ever engaging in any sexual intercourse, which stands in stark contrast with Jane Doe's account, that Mr. Tebbit reportedly engaged in repeated acts of fondling and sexual intercourse beginning when she was 14 years old, during a time when she was still coping with the death of her father. We need to read the footnotes real quick. According to Mr. Tebbit's internship application, he attended Golden Gate Baptist Theological Seminary in Mill Valley, California, during the same time and received a Master's of Divinity in 1988. Mr. Tebbit explained that he was responsible for students from Byers High School, about 80 to 100 kids. From the fact sheet authored by Mr. Tebbit for his psychologist in 2005. In 2005, Mr. Tebbit indicated to a polygrapher that he kissed and fondled her bare breasts. In 2018, after news of the story broke, IHOP staff members told Grace that they understood from speaking with Mr. Tebbit that the inappropriate touching was above Jane Doe's clothes. From the fact sheet authored by Mr. Tebbit for his psychologist in 2005, it is unclear from Mr. Tebbit's description of these events in his fact sheet if any of these events occurred at other locations outside of his home. Clearly, Jane Doe's reports, namely sexual intercourse with a minor, if true, would be felonious criminal behavior. But for the statute of limitations, this alleged behavior is punishable by incarceration in the state penitentiary. Regardless, touching a minor's breast, even if it is over the clothes, is a felony in most states. Okay, bye, Eclectic Mima. Take care of yourself. See modb.com news article 2020190094.html 224/28/18. See also Jane Doe's complaint, which is a public record filed on 5/28/18, case number, although Superior Court of California, San Francisco, California. According to the complaint, Jane Doe alleges that Mr. Tebbit had sex with her in various locations, including his church office, his vehicle, and on an out-of-town trip. You piece of shit. I haven't read the article and I have not looked up the complaint. I'll have to do that on another stream. That we're reading this because this was presented to IHOP, and in this report we're going to find out that Grace, in their investigation, found out that there were victims that weren't related to this case, but that IHOP should follow up with. This is going to get even more disturbing because of the positions of power that Mr. Tebbit was allowed to rise to within IHOP. There's no checks and balances. He had contact with children, and IHOP did nothing about it, in my opinion. Okay. IHOP's due diligence and timeline report provided that Mr. Tebbit moved from FBC Modesto in the summer of 1988 and began working in Alliance Church in Canada. In the fall of 1988, Jane Doe reported what had taken place to FBC Modesto, and FBC Modesto leaders confronted Mr. Tebbit and had him return to Modesto to repent to Jane Doe of the abuse. Why did you not call the police? And why are you exposing a victim to the person who harmed them, and there's no advocate there to protect the victim? What the fuck is going on here? Oh my God, Miss Yvonne. I'm so sorry. I think so, Demi. Mr. Tebbit eventually, in 2005, while working with the psychologist, made the observation that it seems that we dealt with the situation more as a marital affair. We did not focus on the offense to a minor. Concern was expressed about our marriage. No concerns were raised about future ministry or working with students. Are you serious? In 1990, Mr. Tebbit transitioned from Alliance Church in Canada to a church in Hillsboro, Oregon. In 1995, he was hired by a church in Puyallup. In 1998, Mr. Tebbit obtained employment with the Pacific Northwest Christian and Missionary Alliance in the Portland area, where he served as the Youth and Children's Director until 2004. Okay, bye, Aya. I'm sorry. I know this is rough. I'm take care of yourselves. I know it's rough. There's evil in the world. There's organizations that are harming others. And the people who go to IHOP are still fully pro IHOP. And they don't have their eyes open. And I hope that they can read this on their own time. And I'm sorry, I'm not doing a good job of staying not emotional. While employed by the Christian Missionary Alliance, Jane Doe reportedly reached out to Mr. Tebbit in 2002, indicating a desire to connect. Mr. Tebbit indicated that he hesitated to respond because of the church's admonition not to have further contact with Jane Doe. In 2004, Mr. Tebbit chose to dialogue with Jane Doe and reportedly began some email correspondence in early 2004. At the end of April 2004, Jane Doe's pastor from the church she attended in Seattle confronted me with the reality of the nature of what had happened and asked me to take responsibility and action. I agreed to do, I'm saying this, I guess, with a desire to encourage healing for myself and this young lady. Mr. Tebbit had not informed Christian and Missionary, did I just say Christianary? Christian and Missionary Alliance of his abuse of Jane Doe, and so when these matters came to their attention, Mr. Tebbit was asked to resign. In 2004, as Mr. Tebbit was in the process of joining Infusion Ministries, he was asked by the director of Infusion Ministries to undergo a psychological evaluation from, name of the psychologist, to find whether or not Mr. Tebbit is a danger to youth. Mr. Tebbit left Infusion Ministries in 2009 and obtained employment at Horizon Christian School, where he was a Bible teacher and campus pastor for 3 years. In 2012, he applied to IHOP. According to Mr. Tebbit, he has been in some form of youth ministry for 30 years. In a 2005 polygrapher's report indicates that Mr. Tebbit was now in therapy and wanted to prove that the sexual abuse was an isolated incident and that he never had intercourse with the victim. We don't believe that. Mr. Tebbit told IHOP that after the incident with the Christian and Missionary Alliance, Mr. Tebbit always makes his employer aware of the events with Jane Doe. See IHOP's due diligence report and timeline. See 2012 internship application. Also see personal testimony section, wherein he stated that his entire focus in ministry has been on youth and children. See 2012 internship application. The 2012 IHOP internship application asked, have you ever been accused of and or reported for physically or sexually abusing someone? Mr. Tebbit checked the box for yes. I'll just read it again. The 2012 IHOP internship application asked, have you ever been accused of and or reported for physically or sexually abusing someone? Mr. Tebbett checked the box for yes. The application further states, if yes, provide the details and circumstances of the accusations reports of abuse on a separate sheet, which Mr. Tebbett did. Mr. Tebbett explained in his internship application, there was a situation where I was an intern in youth ministry in 1986-87, where I moved outside of my marriage to find emotional fulfillment. You don't find emotional fulfillment with a minor, you piece of shit. Oh my God. This is damaging as it not only violated my marriage with my wife, but also involved a young girl who was 16 years old. She was 14. This was damaging as it not only violated, although my involvement with this young lady went no further than inappropriate touch, it definitely caused deep wounds for her and completely communicated a conflicting message of God's love and her own sexuality. Sir, I have on 2 occasions taken steps to bring resolution and healing into her life. What? In this situation, our most recent communication has indicated God's redemptive work in her life has brought wholeness. This was an isolated incident, a situation in my life that caused me to make corrections and strengthen myself in my marriage. I have 2 men in my life who are familiar with this situation or have been who have researched the specifics and walked with me through the most recent efforts of reconciliation. They would be happy to speak with you as references on the matter. Why don't you give them the information of the child you abused? The president stated that as director of the Simeon Company internship, Mr. Tebbett was in a leadership role for about 10 interns who were ages 50 to 70, but was never in a top leadership role in the IHOP organization. That is a lie. Those are all the footnotes for that page. Yeah, YouTube. Mr. Tebbett also described these events. We're back to reading the main information. After the news media contacted IHOP regarding these matters in spring 2018, IHOP's chief operating officer asked Mr. Tebbett to come to his office and explain the matter. The chief operating officer recalls that Mr. Tebbett was somewhat vague, which he found to be concerning. Mr. Tebbett told the chief operating officer that Jane Doe was 16 or 17 years old at the time. Notice how the age gets closer and closer to the age of consent, except you knew she was 14. Oh my God. He explained that what occurred was inappropriate, but was more of an emotional connection. It was a felony, sir. Mr. Tebbett also indicated that the relationship was only sexual insofar as he was married, kissing, and engaged in inappropriate touching with Jane Doe. The chief operating officer's memory and understanding of how Mr. Tebbett described these events was that the sexual contact was above the clothes and was nothing below the belt. He also recalled that Mr. Tebbett confessed he wanted to have sex with Jane Doe, but it didn't go anywhere. I do not believe it. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Mr. Tebbett also described these events to his fellow Simeon leaders in the aftermath of these events being reported by the news media. These Simeon leaders were interviewed by Grace, and though there were some differences, Simeon leaders generally recall that Mr. Tebbett described these events in the following manner. That at the time he was serving in a youth pastor role, that Jane Doe was 16 or 17 years old and was in his youth group, and he engaged in inappropriate touching with her, but the touching was on top of the clothes. They remember him indicating that these events occurred on more than one occasion, but most had the impression that it was not for an extended period of time, and as one noted, it was not for months and months. These witnesses also recalled that these events had transpired after Jane Doe's father had died. They also generally described Mr. Tebbett's explanation of his actions following the sexual abuse in positive terms, stating that Mr. Tebbett had repented and sought reconciliation and that Jane Doe initially accepted it but later did not grant forgiveness. You don't have to forgive people who did stuff like that to you. Oh my God. Although Mr. Tebbett had made every effort to seek her forgiveness and to offer repentance, you know it would be an effort? Go to the police station and admit what you did and see what the law says about what it is to touch children, you piece of shit. One individual who had been involved with the Simeon Company internship and had spoken with Mr. Tebbett after the news broke described an interaction with Mr. Tebbett thusly. I got the sense that Mr. Tebbett felt like he had already dealt with all this in the past and he wasn't enjoying having to deal with it again. I was a little disappointed that he was not totally undone and saying, God help me, not only for his sake, but for his wife's sake and for IHOP's sake. It was like he already learned how to manage, how to deal, how to contend with it. Oh, there's that word, contend. Ugh. I guess in his mind it had all been completely dealt with, meaning he has learned how to manage it. I got the sense that he was just waiting for the process to end so he can move forward. Kind of like moving on with what you all... Grace need to do and the leadership needs to do so he can get back to his position and get on with his life. I was a little disappointed that he was not more engaged with what everyone else was having to contend with. You're going to use a word like contend when we're talking about someone touching a kid and then having contact with other minors for an extended period of time? What are you... Why are you saying I was a little disappointed? What? Exactly, Chris. On top of the clothes is still a violation. Analysis of Part 1. Without the ability to interview any witnesses with first-hand information regarding the sexual misconduct allegations that were the impetus for this investigation, Grace is unable to provide any analysis regarding the credibility of the alleged victims and the alleged perpetrators' accounts. The remaining data points are statements provided by third parties to Grace regarding this allegation. But, at a minimum, what is known is that Mr. Tebbett's actions demonstrate that he utilized his position of power and authority, power and authority as a youth minister to gain access to a minor in his care, to exploit her trust following the death of her father, and that he sexually violated the physical and emotional boundaries of a youth under his authority and care. You all notice the difference between what Grace writes and what the firm writes that IHOP hired? What is known is that Mr. Tebbett's actions demonstrate that he utilized his position of power and authority as a youth intern minister to gain access to a minor in his care, to exploit her trust following the death of her father, and that he sexually violated the physical and emotional boundaries of a youth under his authority and care. Though Mr. Tebbett characterized these events as isolated and as moving outside of his marriage to find emotional fulfillment, Mr. Tebbett's admissions indicate that his behavior was potentially criminal and possibly worse than what he claims. As Jane Doe's youth minister, he had the obligation to care for her soul. Instead, he engaged in sexually abusing a minor, while being in a position of spiritual authority. As Dr. Diane Langbird explains, clergy sexual abuse is an abuse of power and a desecration in of the name of Christ. It is not an affair, nor is the victim equally culpable. The safety of God's sheep results from his character, not theirs, and so it should be for the broken, confused, and wounded sheep in our communities. They should be safe because of the shepherd's character, and where they are not, a shepherd's character is exposed as being abusive of power, deceptive, and clearly unlike the character of the one he calls master. This is setting the background of a pattern of behavior of IHOP to cover stuff up. In addition, Mr. Tebbett's description of these events as an emotional connection or as moving outside of his marriage to find emotional fulfillment is a significant deception about his own responsibility and does not demonstrate any appreciation for the depravity and the devastating impact that occurs when a person with spiritual authority sexually abuses a minor. In addition, framing this issue in terms of whether Mr. Tebbett engaged with Jane Doe in sexual penetration is a red herring that sidesteps the critical importance of understanding that Mr. Tebbett nonetheless admitted sexually abusing a minor and did so by abusing his access to minors granted to him by the church, by exploiting his authority and power over a vulnerable person, and by violating the trust granted him by Jane Doe and the church. Even if IHOP believes only Mr. Tebbett's account about the abuse, Mr. Tebbett's admissions are therefore highly troubling. Oh my gosh, Hershey boy, I'm so sorry. They're not. He's just abusing her. Yeah. Here's some of the footnotes. For example, one issue that raises questions about Mr. Tebbett's consistency in retelling these events is whether or not the sexual abuse happened on top or below Jane Doe's clothing. The 2005 polygrapher's report indicated that Mr. Tebbett admitted he kissed and fondled her bare breasts. However, in Mr. Tebbett's retelling of this story in recent years, IHOP interviewees understood the sexual touching had occurred on top of her clothing. Dr. Diane Langbird's Sexual Abuse in Christian Organizations, that's the book that they're referencing. And as Victor Veith explains, this is footnote number 34. When the perpetrator is a member of the clergy, the impact on the victim's spirituality is often heightened. This happens in part because clergy abusers often use their religion to justify or excuse their abuse of children, and then communicate these cognitive distortions to their victims. In one case, for example, a minister... Okay, content warning, just mute me if this is too much. It's a lot. In one case, for example, a minister told his daughter that having sex with children is sometimes acceptable and cited God's use of incest at the time of Adam and Eve and after the flood as proof. Oh my God. As a result of this distorted theology, the church attendance of these children decreases. They are less likely to trust God, and their relationship with God ceases to grow. Quoting McLaughlin, Devastating Spirituality. Victor I. Veith, On This Rock, A Call to Center the Christian Response to Child Abuse on the Life and Words of Jesus. Eugene Whippenstock Publishers, 2018, page 8. Dr. Diane Langbird also writes, God is viewed through the lens of abuse. Who he is and what he thinks about the survivor is understood based upon who daddy was, or mommy, or grandfather, or a youth pastor, or whoever. They have learned about love, trust, hope, and faith through the experience of sexual abuse. They have also learned about the unseen through the visible. The ins and outs of the ordinary had taught them many lessons about who they think God is. And that's from the spirituality impact of sexual abuse. Oh my God. We're going to have to make this another... I'm going to finish reading this section, but we're going to have to do a second part. I think we need to read the entire report, because what we're going to find at the very end is that IHOP knew 6 years ago about stuff going on. Let me finish this section. We'll do a floof break. We'll end the stream. Okay? I'm going to read down to the findings of fact, and then we'll have a floof break, and then we'll end the stream, and we'll schedule the next stream. In addition, Mr. Tebbett's acts and omissions after the abuse and since that time raised a number of important questions about his stated repentance for the sexual abuse. Though only God can judge the heart, anyone can see whether a person's words and actions are congruent. Repenting does not mean an absence of consequences. In fact, an abuser who demonstrates authentic repentance will willingly accept whatever consequences provide healing for the one he wounded. In addition, authentic repentance means that an abuser desires and proactively seeks out accountability for his actions and for the distorted patterns of thinking that caused him to engage in such behavior. With this in mind, some questions which remain are: why did Mr. Tebbit wait for Jane Doe to be the one to report this matter to FBC Modesto? Why did he permit the FBC Modesto leadership to frame this matter as an affair rather than as a crime and as an abuse of power by a person in spiritual authority over a youth? Why did he not turn himself into the police? Why did he not inform his subsequent employers, Alliance Church in Canada, the Church in Hillsborough, the Church in Puyallup, and the Christian and Missionary Alliance, of this abuse after leaving FBC Modesto? Why did he wait until after being confronted by Jane Doe's pastor to report his abuse to his employer, Christian and Missionary Alliance? Why did he not proactively pursue help for his distorted patterns of thinking, rather than waiting to be drawn into this process by his employer in 2004 to 2005? Why did he continue to pursue employment in churches, ministries, and in a school where he could be granted access and or placed in positions of leadership and authority over children and youth? Though Mr. Tebbit replied to a question on the 2012 IHOP internship application that described his version of events, why did he minimize these events? Why on the 2012 IHOP internship application did he deny receiving help for psychological, sexual, emotional, or relational problems? Why did Mr. Tebbit stay silent when he applied for an IHOP staff position, and most notably, again when he was considered for the position of director of Simeon Company? IHOP must thoughtfully consider and address these important questions when making a determination about whether Mr. Tebbit has demonstrated authentic repentance for the totality of his actions. I think that's a good place to stop. We're only on page 5. These are, again, the questions are so good. The questions are so good. I think because all the answers lead to him wanting to hide his behavior, it shows having an organization come in and ask those hard questions, and then when we get to the end of the report and y'all see on the next stream what IHOP did with this info, I think we're going to collectively rage together. But before we leave, we're going to do some floof breaks. I've got, oh, look at this newbie. Look at this new baby. iPhone. Look, this is new. Doesn't have a name yet. Look at this cutie. Look at this cutie. Oh my goodness. Oh, cute. What a handsome, are we going to say floof? I'm going to say floof. A prickly floof. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, look at these snuggle bugs. They're 2. Also, I love your blanket and your pillow. I love your floofs. Can I come over? I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. What is this baby? Cute. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a good little perch. What a beautiful floof. It's snuggle time. Look at the seriousness of this snuggle time. Think. When we go to the profile. Oh my god! Look at all these corgi pictures. Oh my god. I love it. I love it. Oh, we love a corgi moment. Oh, cool. Cute. Oh, look at that smile. Did that not just make us all happier? I think that's what we got for now. Oh. The black one's Athena, the corgi is Rosie, and the white one's Rocky. We'll just look at these again for Easter. Look at these. Look, kitty. And I think this is a good one to bring up. You got a puppy. There's an account I follow. They got jumping spiders, and I'm terrified of spiders, but she raises them and she calls them puppies, and she shows like how they respond to her voice when she's singing to them, and I can't get enough of it. But I want to speak on this. Julie said this is further strengthening the case for raising children outside organized religion. And I want to say that understanding how the bite model works, understanding the influence continuum, understanding that influence is everywhere, whether you're part of a group or not, and you knowing what healthy influence looks like for individuals, for leaders, for organization, and what destructive influence look like for individuals, leaders, and organizations, you can help make better informed decisions about if you want to join a group. And again, Dr. Barry on Natalie Lawyer Chick's channel said it best, or maybe Natalie said it, that if the organization you're a part of is healing and restorative, and it can be healing and restorative for some people, that those can be something that are a positive for you and your family, or you. And I just want to read what the healthy things look like for individuals, for leaders, for organizations, and then what the unhealthy ones look like, because I think that it's important to continue to help provide some education in my limited way. But this is from Dr. Stephen Hassan. Then the constructive side for individuals, you get to retain your authentic self. You have unconditional love. You're compassionate. You can retain your conscience. The creativity and humor is praised. Your free will and critical thinking is praised. And we see that is not the case at IHOP. And I can talk more about that on next stream. For leaders, psychologically healthy. They know their own limits. They empower individuals instead of hoarding power to themselves. They're trustworthy and they're accountable. And we saw this in the part of the report when they're asking questions. Why were you not accountable for your actions and you were trying to hide it and get away with it, to Brad Tevitt and also to IHOP? For organizations, the healthy ones are egalitarian. They have checks and balances. There's no checks and balances at IHOP. They allow for informed consent. They praise individuality and diversity. The means create the end. They encourage growth, and you're free to leave. On the destructive, the unhealthy side of influence, for individuals, you have a false cult identity. You have conditional love. There's hate involved. There's doctrine. There's solemnity, fear, and guilt. There's dependency and obedience. And if you see more of that, you may be on the destructive side, or your organization may be on the destructive side, or the person you're hanging out with may be on the destructive side of influence. For leaders, narcissistic and psychopathic, elitist, grandiose, they're power hungry. They're secretive and deceptive. They claim absolute authority. And then for organizations on the destructive side, there's elitism. There's an authoritarian structure. They're deceptive or manipulative. They clone people. The ends justify the means. They want to preserve their own power, and there's no legitimate reason to leave. When we look at that, does that remind you of some of the things, some of the statements we've heard IHOP say? But when we're reading this report, and the reason we're reading it is because there's evidence at the end that IHOP knew about this and was told about other stuff that they let just simmer for 5 years. Oh, sweet Shelby, I'll go look. I'll put it on the screen. Okay, let me go pull it up. Ruh-roh. Okay, it's just a spider. Cute. Look at that baby. Look at this puppy. In a Dutch Brothers cup. Let's freaking go. What kind of spider is it? Is it a jumping spider? Oh my god. Do you like put it on your finger and stuff? That makes sense. Oh my god, I love it. I love it. That is Chalupa. Cutie. She's a regal jumper. Cute. Do you follow that account on Instagram? And she calls them her puppies, and then she'll sing to them, and you see them, their little, I guess arms kind of, I don't know if they go into a trance, but it's so cute. I've only had her for a week, so she's not super used to me yet. Cool. I know it's a strange request, but I'm really trying to improve my videos. Okay. What's your we can yeah, we can do that. What do you want to do it on a members only stream? Or do you want to do it on another stream? We can do kind of like a branding stream. I'm totally fine to do that. Cuz I think the live chat has really great points. They've helped me a lot with my stuff. All right. What are your thoughts so far about what we've learned about this IHOP situation? Sweet. Let's do it. When are you free? For sure. Yeah, just let me know when you're free and we'll do it. Disgusting. Something that would have, it's hard to take in. But what we're going to find out towards the end of this report about Brad Tebbett, and then what IHOP knew about potential new victims is going to be really, really unnerving. It was unnerving for me. It hits so close to home. Yeah. It does. $10 a.m. or 10 p.m.? What would you like? I can do 10 a.m. I can do 10 p.m. I'm pretty much a night owl. And I will say this, it's heartbreaking, but it needs to be out in the public. Yeah, it's twisty. Okay, live chat, if y'all are free. I know tomorrow's Easter. I will be streaming. I'm not going to be going anywhere. 10 a.m.? Okay. I'll be 10 a.m. here. YouTube, would you like it to be a public stream or a members only stream? I'm Central, so 10 a.m. Eastern for you would be, could we do 11 a.m. if you're Eastern, because then that'll be 10 a.m. for me. I have a person that I thankfully forgot about moved back into my rent's neighborhood. Oh god, Central? Oh, I'm Central. Public? Okay. Yep. You can do it tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central. Alright. I will schedule it now. We will finish this live stream tomorrow night, maybe. Thanks for joining. I know it was a rough stream. I hope that getting the information out helps to spread the word about what's going on in some of these organizations. And for sure, Rutro, I get it. I will see y'all for the next stream. I'll see y'all tomorrow for YouTube stream, and we'll have a fun group branding session. So, bye.